Hi everyone. Now we are going to discuss a topic called buffers. Buffers, more precisely also called as pH buffers or hydrogen buffers. Then what is this buffer? A buffer is a solution, that means an aqueous solution consisting of a weak acid and its conjugate base, or vice versa. That means weak base or its conjugate acids. So once again, the definition of a buffer comes like this. A buffer is an aqueous solution consisting of a weak acid and its conjugate base, or vice versa. That means weak base and its conjugate acid. And buffers are the molecules that can donate a proton, that means like this, or it can this one is a OH minus. So obviously it can accept a proton. So either it can donate a proton or it can accept a proton such that it can resist the pH change in a solution. So that is going to be called as a buffer. That's how a buffer is going to have a weak acid and its conjugate base, or a weak base and its conjugate acid. The dissociation of the simple acid HA, here you can see, into H plus and A minus is going to be shown like this. So here is A minus and here is an acid, that means able to donate a proton, and here is a HA. Okay, here this one. And then again here HA is going to accept a proton, that means able to donate OH minus. Obviously it is also becoming a weak base. So here is a weak acid and here is a weak base along with their conjugate acids and conjugate base. So that's how in between it is going to become a buffer. And so what is the main function of this buffer? To resist the pH changes in a solution, either by donating or by accepting. In nature, there are many systems that use buffering for pH regulation. In nature, that means by nature we are having this buffering system which is playing an important role mainly in nature as well as in the laboratory settings. In nature, they offer protection to living organisms, while in labs they are used to create environment with a stable pH. So for the best example of the buffering systems is the bicarbonate buffering system, which is used to regulate the pH of our blood. Then what are the types of buffers? So generally we are having the two types of buffers. One is the acidic buffers and another one is the basic buffers. So acidic buffers obviously saying that it is a weak acid and it's a conjugate base. Okay, weak acid and salt with strong base is going to be called as acidic buffers, and all these are going to be the examples. So then coming to the basic buffers, so the basic buffer is a combination of obviously weak base and it's solved with a strong acid, vice versa of this one. So weak base and the salt with strong acid is going to be termed as basic buffers, and examples are all these ammonium hydroxide, all these things. And then along with these two, we are also going to have a general type of a buffer that is being used in the laboratories is the phosphate buffers. So it, besides the two general types of the buffers that we discussed, that is acidic buffers and the basic buffers, we are all having a third type of the buffer, that is a phosphate buffer. This buffer system consists of two salts. One is a monopotassium phosphate and another one is a dibasic potassium phosphate. One is the monobasic potassium phosphate, another one is a dibasic potassium phosphate. Together with these two salts we are going to prepare the phosphate buffers. Okay, so this is all about the types of buffers. We have two types majorly, that is acidic buffers and basic buffers. In general, we are also going to prepare the third type, that is a phosphate buffer. Then here are coming some buffering agents. In general we are using is a citric acid buffer, then acetic acid buffer, and then here is your potassium dihydrogen phosphate buffer, and chess. Chess does not mean a play. The full form of chess is cyclohexyl aminoethane sulfonic acid. What is it? Cyclohexyl aminoethane sulfonic acid. So who is having the pH of about 8.3 to 10.3, it rests the chain. Then borate is obviously 8.25 to 10.25. So these are all the pH ranges at which we are using the concerned pH buffers. Okay, and for buffers in acidic regions, The pH may be adjusted to a desired value by adding a strong acid such as HCl. So if you want to make a solution to be acidic in condition, obviously you add the HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, to the particular buffering agent. For alkaline buffers, so obviously you add the strong base, that is sodium hydroxide. Alternatively, a buffer mixture can be made from a mixture of an acid and its conjugate base. Example is the acetate buffer can be made from the mixture of acetic acid and sodium acetate. Similarly, an alkaline buffer can be prepared by using its base and its conjugate acid. So that's how the buffering agents that in general we use to maintain the pH of the concerned solutions are these. Okay. Then moving to the types of buffer systems and their use in biological reactions, I told you that these buffer systems are having a very important role in nature, that is in the uh, protection of living organisms as well as in the laboratories, isn't it? So let's see a few of the biological reactions or importance of these buffers. So every biological process is pH dependent. So that means a little change of this pH in our body may change the whole rate of reaction and its process. Okay, and those are all things we'll discuss in the importance. Then coming to the intracellular and extracellular fluids of multi-organism consists of a characteristic and nearly constant pH. So that means your pHs of different organelles is going to be of having some specific pH value. For example, take the blood pH is going to be of 7.4, so that have to be maintained. So if it is going to be increased or decreased, you are going to prone to some metabolic disorders which is leading to the dysfunctions of the organs, all the things. Then the organism first defense of again as the any infections is going to be the internal pH, which is provided by again our buffer systems. Then the cytoplasm of most cells contain higher concentration of proteins, which contains many amino acids with the functional groups that are weak acids and weak base. So that's how the proteins are also playing very important role in maintaining the pH of our blood, and not only pH of the blood in the cytoplasm components. Then organic acid buffers, example in the plant cells, the vacuoles are going to have the balancing of this pH of the plants. So that's how these are few biological reactions that are occurring because of buffers. Then what are the two main biological buffer systems that we are having? We will discuss in detail about these two. One is your phosphate buffer, another one is the carbonic acid buffer. So let's see the first one, phosphate buffer, which is a very important system in operating the internal fluid of cells. Okay, so we will call it as IFC, that is internal fluid of all cells is going to maintain by this phosphate buffer system. And this consists of dihydrogen phosphate ion, that is H2PO4 minus as hydrogen donor, and hydrogen phosphate ion. So remember here it's a dihydrogen H2, whereas here is a hydrogen phosphate ion HPO4 minus 2 as a hydrogen acceptor. So weak acid and its conjugate base. These two ions are going to be in equilibrium with each other as indicated. So H2PO4 minus, that is hydrogen ion donor, dihydrogen phosphate, acting as a proton donor and becoming the hydrogen ion acceptor, that is hydrogen phosphate ion. And if this condition is going to occur, again it is going to take a proton and it is going to become a H2PO4 minus. That's how the maintenance of pH is going to be balanced by this phosphate buffer system. Now this phosphate buffer system resists the pH change between 5.9 to 7.9. So this phosphate buffer system is going to be a more effective buffer in biological fluids because the extracellular fluids and most cytoplasmic compartments in mammals possess pH range of 6.9 to 7.4. So you have to maintain this one by adjusting all the things inside the cell. Then phosphate salts are the most commonly used buffers because they buffer in the growth range of most bacteria, and these are non-toxic and provide a source of phosphorus, that is ATP contains a phosphate as essential nutrient element in the ATP or all those metabolisms. Okay, so this is all about the phosphate buffer system and its importance in the living organism. Then moving to the carbonic acid buffer system or bicarbonate carbonic acid system. This is the most important buffer system in the plasma. Okay, so the here it accounts of about that is 65% of the buffer capacity in the plasma, and 40% approximately of buffering action in the whole body. Okay, so let's see here, this H2CO3 is going to be of Corlas carbonic acid, and HCO3 minus is going to be the hydrogen carbonate. And this component, hydrogen carbonate, is regulated by kidneys, that is by metabolic component, and whereas this is going to be taken by the respiratory regulation, that is carbonic acid is going to be taken regulation by the respiratory metabolism, and whereas this carbonate, that is bicarbonate component, is going to be taken by the kidneys, regulated by the kidneys. So here both our respiratory system is involved, as well as our excretory system is also involved in maintaining the pH. So that's how we are going to have a bicarbonate carbonic acid system here. So pH of the human blood plasma is 7.4, as I told you. If the pH of the blood plasma falls below 7.4, that is acidic in conditions, that leads to a condition called as acidosis. Okay, and if the pH of the blood increases above, this condition is going to be the alkaliosis. So both the conditions may be respiratory or metabolic disorders. So that means either the acidosis or the alkaliosis may lead to both the damage of our respiratory as well as the metabolic. So that is not happening because these two are going to have the good function. So that's why a person is going to get sick or dead when it is going to have these two conditions very worse. That is, if the respiratory system is not working properly, he will die. If the metabolic system is, that is mainly kidneys, are not working, then also the patient will die because of this maintenance capacity of these two systems. The carbonic acid hydrogen carbonate ion buffer throughout the body to maintain the pH of plasma loss to 7.4. So it is always tries to maintain the pH of the plasma at 7.4. Okay, the body maintains the buffers by eliminating either the acid or the base. That means if it is acidosis in condition, it is going to add the alkali, that is a weak base. If it is going to be of alkalosis, it is going to add the protons. So removing the protons, adding the protons. So that's how it is maintaining the pH at the constant one, that is 7.4. So changes in this carbonic acid concentration can be affected within seconds through increased or decreased respiration. That means if you are having the carbonic acid more in your body, you will suffocate of breathing. So obviously you will inhale more oxygen, which will balance this one. Whereas changes in hydrogen carbonate ion concentration, this one, however, it is going to require hours together to remove slowly, because that is going to be taken by the kidney. Okay, that means the kidneys are going to participate in elimination of this hydrogen ion carbonate one. Okay, that's how carbonic acids can be easily removed from our body, but the carbonate ions, that is bicarbonate ion, is taking much time, because that have to be taken by our kidneys. So let's have a quick seeing of this picture. Carbon dioxide, a byproduct of cellular respiration, we know it, is going to be taken, carried by the RBC, because we know this RBC is the one which is carrying the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood. So here what's happening inside the RBCC here, the carbon dioxide plus water giving rise to your carbonic acid, that is H2CO3, and that is going to give rise to the bicarbonate one by releasing the protons. Now this carbonic acid is going to move to the respiratory system lungs, and it is going to be thrown out. But what about this form, that is a bicarbonate ions? So they are going to be taken by the, that means they enter the blood, where it is going to taken by the action of kidneys as a metabolic compound. Okay, so most of the carbon here, where it is taken up by red cells and converted to carbonic acid by carbonic anhydrase. So this is an enzyme which is involved in the conversion of carbon dioxide and water into the carbonic acid. and most of the carbonic acid then dissociates into bicarbonate and hydrogen ions, and this will be removed. That means the bicarbonate ions is going to be removed by our kidneys. Then here is the bicarbonate buffering system. So let's have the relationship until now what we have discussed about the lungs and the kidneys. So here is your carbon dioxide and the water. So here is your carbonic acid, obviously. So increase proton concentration to counter the alkalis. So the red is going to indicate, the red line is indicating the increased hydrogen ion concentration to counter or control the alkalilysis. What is meant by alkalilysis? The rise in the pH. That means above 7 is going to be the alkalis. So now obviously what it have to take the protons and get converted into the carbonate ions, which is going to be taken by the kidneys, and it is thrown in the form of urine. Suppose if you are going to have the more acidosis, so it have to release the protons, isn't it? So that is happening. So the red is going to give rise to, so this is going to take the protons, and these protons is going to be form of carbonic acid, and that is being thrown out by the lungs in the form of carbon dioxide and water. So this is how both the alkalosis and acidosis. What is meant by alkalosis? The increased proton concentration to counter alkalosis. That means if basic in condition, we'll add the more protons. If acidic in condition, we'll decrease the proton concentration. So here you can see carbon dioxide. Okay, so here this is going to take the protons, and that is going to taken by the lungs, and it is being thrown out. And here the red is going to indicate of increase the proton concentration. That means more protons are being released, and it is taken by this one, and the carbon bicarbonate ions are being thrown by the kidneys. So it's a respiratory component, and it is going to be a metabolic component. So here what is this one is a carbonic acid, which is a respiratory component, and here it is a bicarbonate ion, which is a metabolic component. Okay, so this is all about the bicarbonate buffering system, which is one of the most physiological buffering system that we are having. And then coming to the importance of buffer solutions, so we are having a lots of buffer solutions important. So what are this? Let's have a quick look out of all those things. So the first most important one is in the microbiology laboratory, many solutions and growth media are buffered to prevent sudden adverse changes in the acidity or alkalinity of the environment surrounding the microorganism. That means if you want to grow the microorganisms in a growth media, obviously they should have the proper pH maintenance. So that pH maintenance is going to be added by using this buffers, so to resist the pH change. Because if it is going to have more acidic or more alkaline other than its optimum pH, so obviously it won't grow, and we are not going to have the growth of the organisms to study. So that's how the buffer is very important in the biological, that is microbiology laboratory, in preparing the solutions as well as in the growth media. Then coming to the, this is also acting as a buffering agent, varying of narrow range regardless of what else may be present in the solution. Then coming to the biological systems, the enzymes also required for their proper functioning, they require the constant pH. Then for example, in human blood, the mixture of carbonic acid and what we have discussed, carbonic acid H2CO3 and bicarbonate HCO3 minus is present in the plasma fraction, isn't it? And that is going to be of maintaining the pH between 7.35 to 7.45. Above this or below this, I told you we are going to have a condition called as acidosis and alkalosis. Metabolic conditions rapidly develop and ultimately leading to the death. So that's what I do. If the correct buffer capacity is not rapidly restored, so that means if the kidneys or the lungs are not going to participate and react immediately and maintain the pH, obviously the person will die because of these conditions. If the pH value of a solution rises or falls too much, the effectiveness of enzyme decreases in a process known as denaturation. So what is this denaturation? The proteins are going to lose its functional capability and becoming non-functional. We call it as a denaturation. So denaturation of proteins also occurs because of this one. and which is usually irreversible. We can't make it reversible. The majority of biological samples that are used in research are kept in a buffer solution, often the phosphate buffered saline. So majority of our buffer solutions are going to be the phosphate buffer. That's what I told you. The third important phosphate buffer, which is made with two salts. One is a mono basic potassium, this one, and the second one is monobasic potassium phosphate, and second one is a dibasic potassium phosphate. This is what I told you, which is very important in the preparation of some of the buffers in laboratories, isn't it? So in industry, buffering systems are also going to be best buffering agents in fermentation process. So majority of coloring fabrics, all those things require some sort of a buffering agents to maintain the pH. So there also they are being used. They are also used in chemical analysis and calibration of pH meters. Yes, in chemistry laboratories, we majorly use the pH meters. There also we require these buffers to study about the pH. Okay, so these are the few main importance of buffer solution. Along with this, we are also having other importance also. Let's have a look on it also. So buffering actions of soils is very important in agriculture. So because of using of more fertilizers, all these pesticides, maybe the acidic conditions or the basic conditions of the soil may increase. So obviously that becomes unbarren. That means unable to grow the proper plants, and we won't get the product after harvesting properly. So for that, what can be the reason? So the reason is the increase of the pH or decrease of the pH of the soil. In that conditions, if you're adding the buffering uh, action of the soils, so which is going to play a very crucial role in the agriculture. So as I told you, artificial fertilizer from the soil to change the pH in solution that they extract from the soil in a favorable direction. An imbalance in buffering action of soil is determined from two useful microorganisms living in it. Yes, we know that the microorganisms also present in the soil, and that also will die if the proper pH is not maintained. Then buffering solution are very important in the treatment of domestic sewage. Yes, these buffer solutions are also being used in the sewage plants to treat the domestic sewage. Okay, one it is going to be used to allow the growth of the microorganisms, such that the waste is going to, the organic matter is going to be degraded by them. And the second thing, they are also used in the chemical treatment of the water. The excess deposition of the minerals in the water can't be supplied as a drinking water. So to remove those things, we obviously add some sort of a chemicals. Those are nothing but the buffers to balance the pH of the water. And then these buffers are also used in volumetric analysis in chemistry labs. If you are come from chemistry background, you may come to have some sort of a buffers which are being used in finding out some sort of volumetric titrations and calorimetry studies and potentiometrical studies also. Okay, and then obviously we have discussed in the cellular physiology. So bicarbonate carbonic acid system, as I told you, which is very important buffer system, phosphate buffer system. So those are all being very well studied in the cellular physiology. Buffers are an important for the cell to maintain constantly or smoothly changing conditions. In cellular metabolism is constantly producing and consuming protons. So when there is a deficiency of protons, that means more alkali conditions, protons will be added. If more acidic conditions are prevailing, the protons will be removed. So that's how the cells are going to maintain or resist the pH change of a cell. So pH of the cell in the absence of buffers would change rapidly between low and high levels, which may be of leading to the dysfunction of the concerned cells, and the cells dysfunction leads to the or tissues dysfunction, and the tissues dysfunction will lead to the organs, and the organs leads to the death of the person. So that's how in this video we had gone through the types of buffers, what is a buffer, types of buffers, and then what are the two important buffer systems in the biological system, and then we have gone to the importance of the buffer solutions or buffers. Okay, thank you.